Today's card of the day is As Foretold. 2 and a blue for an enchantment with, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on As Foretold. Also, once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a spell you cast with mana value X or less, where X is the number of time counters on As Foretold. When this card came out, everyone was absolutely livid with how cool this card was. The strategies it helped, the different archetypes that were coming from it. It was really neat. I think it was Amonkhet when this first released, and I snagged one up instantly. And I think immediately I put it in my Rashmi deck at the time, and oh geez, it was a blast. While I don't think it's particularly suited, I guess, for my playstyle at the moment, I think it fits really well in decks based on a lot of spell casting. And I think it fits better also in metas that are a little faster, but also not too fast. So cards this really enables are cards such as, I guess, out of the blue that sort of are unorthodox, are cards with suspend. I think most of these suspend cards act sort of as like super strong effects, but they're sort of gated by the fact that they need to be suspended because they actually don't have any casting cost. But with this, cards with no casting costs are 0, right? So instead of having no casting costs, you can just pay 0 because 0 is the value of a card with no casting costs. So you can play things like your, I guess, Lotus Bloom. You can play your things like, I forgot the suspend with the Ancestral Recall suspend. I forgot that card. You've got your Wheel of Fortune suspension card. You've got a bunch of these cards that can be cast via this just by, paying 0. And it's really cool, right? I don't think too many of those cards are played in Commander as of the moment, because I think once you do draw a card, you just want to play it because who knows if you'll get your next turn, right? It's sort of that effect. I think where this shines greatly is you have a deck that not only can draw enough where you can play, I guess, a spell perhaps once each turn at a high density of low mana value spells. And I think it's important that they're low mana value because when you do get this out, going around one turn is going to be pretty rough because you're only getting to play cantrips for free. And cantrips free, that's super strong. People play things like Get Probe for that reason. I think it might be an added benefit that the fact you can see their hand. But like if it said draw a card for no mana, just 2 life, people play that. This is sort of enables that sort of idea. The rough thing is people have a chance to remove it prior to it becoming incredibly out of hand. So I think you definitely want to play this in a deck that has enough counter spells. I think you can't play in a deck without blue, right? So you're always gonna be able to have some sort of way to protect it. And then if you're playing blue, you should be playing counters, protect it. The second go round, you can start playing your counter spells for free. That's where it starts getting super spicy. Rashmi is a commander that plays spells for free on the top of your library if you have if the casting cost is less than or I think or equal to the casted card, right? And this is sort of half that effect. And there are decks built around Rashmi, right? There's 4-color Rashmi. There's just straight old blue-green Rashmi. Like it's a pretty strong card, right? And this is sort of half that. I think it becomes super good when you can play this as a ramp spell and not necessarily build your deck around this. Because I think if you do try to build your deck around this, especially in a blue deck, it's gonna be a little slow. Like there's no way to like tell everyone to hurry up and get to your next few turns, right, while this builds up. And becomes increasingly stronger because you can play your other instances that are probably higher than 2 mana or 1 mana. And so because if you have a high density of cantrips or counter spells, playing those spells for free and also refilling your hand means you can just play basically a more controlling, I think, particularly controlling strategy better. I think it's best in a controlling shell too, because these control shells, while they don't really have this best way at controlling the whole board, this is one of those ways that does help facilitate that sort of strategy because you can then start placing the whole table opposed to just one person because you need to keep your mana up to stop everyone, right? This lets you pay your mana, I guess, invest in your own board state, but also keep sort of mana up via As Foretold and stop someone else from playing, right? Playing their card. So this is like a super strong effect. It just is, I think, relatively slow. I think you should definitely put in your deck. If you have a blue based controlling deck, this is probably good in there. And that's to say a blue based deck that also has a lot of instances or cards with flash, because playing things on everyone's turn while also having a decent sized grip and being able to refill your hand is where this card will shine a lot. But of course, that's just my experience. Let me know what y'all think about it in the comments below. Are you playing this card? Are you dumping this card? What do you think about it? Peace out.